I do think years from now, when he's got the red jacket, we will remember all of the good times. But
I agree.
But I think we do live in a different age with social media, and you see every interview and sports talk shows and the internet and blah, blah, blah. For example, like when Bob Gibson had a bad final year, nobody brings that up. I just feel like this year for Waino, it's been so public. It's been what we talk about nonstop. I do think you'll remember the way it ended a bit. And again, that's not saying he wasn't a great Cardinal. He'll be a first ballot Cardinals Hall of Famer. But the way he's chasing 200, I don't know if pathetic is the right word, but there's a word that's close to pathetic that it feels that way.
It does.
It does. And Adam Wainwright is such a great person, and he was such a great pitcher. The way he's chasing 200, it feels beneath him.
Yeah. Like you're treating him.
Am I wrong on that?
You're treating him like a child.
Well, I'm just saying the way he just keeps pitching just for 200, and last week he was okay, but it was a quality start, and it was basically celebrated like he threw a no-hitter.
It was a complete 180.
And then he's back to 6 or 7 earned runs, and you don't want to see him go through it. I also think last night, to me in the postgame, it was a little different, where he basically said, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell Cardinal fans. When you get to a point where you can no longer make excuses and soft contact and this and that, when you get to a point where you basically have no answers, that's kind of like, dude, I have nothing left.
It's like you coaching that little Janie May.
I don't know what to tell her fan, but what do I tell them? You know, what do I say? What can I say?
When that inning starts and some of the same stuff creeps up again, you mentioned soft contact.
Hi, Kat.
I mean, does that get into your psyche where you
No.
like, here we go again?
No. That was my whole outlook going into last game and this game was I can't get into what's already happened. You know, it's we're going forward from there on and
dude.
Just making pitches, can't control what's already happened.
Seriously.
But stuff kept happening. So
It's like
Stuff kept happening.
It's like you coaching Janie May's little soccer team, and the one little girl's like, "I want to play goalie. I love goalie." And you're like, "Okay." And you put her in there, and she gets lit up, and you're like, "Have to switch it out." And then she's like, "I want to play goalie again." You're like, "Okay." And you keep putting her out there, and she gets lit up.
Like, you can play
Terrible
You
comparison.
can play goalie in practice.
Because we went 5-1-1, and we beat the best team in the last game, okay?
Didn't you have a
So
goalie that plays practice goalie?
we have some practice goalies, okay? We have some practice
Well, can he be a
goalies.
practice pitcher?
Listen,
Boom.
at the end of the day, we have about 40 days left, okay? Waino is interesting to talk about. Their whole pitching staff is injured, right? Matz, Liberatore. So let him go out there. I mean, I don't know. Are they going to keep doing it? I guess. To me, it's sad. It's sad because
it's on him, though.
No, you're right. It is.
It's on him. Sanderson made a good point.
He could pull the ripcord at any moment.
Any moment.
He could go to Ollie and say, you know what, guys?
That's
I feel
not
like
his responsibility.
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
It is.
Okay,
Like, it can be.
but he has the juice to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, so does Mozeliak and so does Ollie.
Yeah.
But Adam, because he's so well respected in the organization, he could also go and knock on the manager's door and say, hey, man, you know, at this point,
I can't do it.
it's becoming an embarrassment.
Get somebody else up. Get a young kid up here. See what they can do. I can't do this anymore. You know, you can't. Here, Sanderson chimed in. He goes, Waino has always been a team-first guy. This is the first time he's been selfish about his own numbers and not just him. Very depressing. I agree with that, dude.
Disagree. He's helping the team by losing.
I mean, come on.
The draft pick.
Come on.
Get that lottery.
Whatever. Let's see what another kid could do, man. I know the other dude came up. Drew Rahm got lit up like a Christmas tree. That kind of sucks. Mom and Dad are watching. Had 40 people there. A couple errors, and then just snowball effect in that game. I kind of felt bad for him, but see what else you got, man. Waino doesn't deserve another start.
Well, yeah.
Like, he doesn't deserve another start.
I agree with you on that.
It's getting ridiculous.
I would have been.
It's getting ridiculous.
We need stuff to talk about, though.
I know, but like you know
Well,
what
yeah.
I mean. Like, even the guys, I bet are like, oh, God. Like, they're probably rolling their eyes. Every time he goes out there, you know the numbers are going to be skewed for guy at first, the guy there. You're getting hit all over the place. And it affects everybody's numbers.
Well, that's why
Hang him up.
That's why I think it just seems like this chase for 200 is beneath Waino, the person and the player. And I say this because, and by the way, we all know, 700 homers is way different than 200 wins. But last year, Albert was doing this amazing thing, but he was also really helping the team win. He was the best player on the team for the second half, and the team was really good.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. It was the perfect trilogy of a moment, a player playing well, and the team doing well.
Yeah.
And now Waino is chasing a record that doesn't have nearly the same meaning whatsoever. He's pitching poorly, and the team is awful. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah, it is. It's all about him in a negative way. You know,
I stand by my whole thing of chasing 200 is goofy to begin with, but that I concede the fact that there are going to be people who just 200 is more significant than 198. Okay,
I'm starting to agree with you now. Like, it's not worth it.
I agree. I'm willing to concede that point, but at the beginning of the year, I think okay. You know, I see it a little bit differently, but I understand. At this point, if he gets to 200 wins, I understand why people would give a standing ovation in the ballpark because it's more of a collective. Like, okay, this is probably your last start. They're probably going to shut him down after he gets 200 wins if he were to get that. But that would just feel so. You said you didn't want to say pathetic. That would feel pathetic. Like, whoa, we finally got to 200 wins. Like, let's all.
What if no one even cares when he gets there?
Should people care? Like, this has gone on
Imagine that.
the entire season.
They don't even clap.
Like, well, okay, they should give a little hat tip. How about little hat tip? He's going to tip his hat to you. You should tip your hat to him.
Here's a good question, I think. So you go after 200 wins. Why? It's a legacy thing.
Right.
It's about your legacy. So, and I think this ends up being an obvious answer. But if you could have turned back the clock, how would Waino's legacy how would it be better? If he retired last year with 198, and even though he had a bad last month, he was good last year.
Yeah.
He was pitching to a
100%
3.7
agree.
ERA. So he has 198, but he ended with a pretty dang good season, even though the last month wasn't great. Or let's say Waino gets 200 wins this year, but we see how it happened. My point is, the legacy of Adam Wainwright would have been better if he ends with 198 than if, in my opinion, even though years from now we can look at his baseball card and see 200 wins, I think the legacy of Adam Wainwright is stronger if he retires with 198 than if he gets 200 the way he's getting it.
I agree.
This year.
I largely agree with that. My one little sort of playing both sides of this thing is that people are already flipping on Yadier Molina, and he's back to being, they can't catch without Yadier Molina. And all of last season, people were making fun of him. He's not even going to Arizona because he's hanging out in Puerto Rico watching basketball. They were making fun of him all of last year, and then immediately it's back to, we can't live without him. And so I almost think that...
I don't think next year, though, if the pitching staff isn't great, they're not going to be like, God, we miss Waino.
No, and it shouldn't be the case, but they have...
It's obvious that you missed, at the beginning of the year, not having Yachty. It's like right in your face. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, damn. Willie wasn't playing great. Kiz wasn't doing his thing.
Oh, and they sat him. I mean, when you set Willie Contreras for a week and say, hey, you've caught in the big leagues for 7 years, and now you're not allowed to catch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty stark
that's what I mean.
difference.
So that's why
Yachty's
Yachty's name was getting thrown around and this, that, and the other. I just don't think it's the same.
It may not be. But again, I largely agree with your point that at the end of the day, this could leave a little bit of a stain, but the further we get away from this, the more people are just going to look at Adam Wainwright's overall baseball reference page
100%.
and say, look at all those all-star appearances he had. Oh, man, he started in 2014. Wow. He had this many years of a 3.5 ERA or less or something like that. The further we get away from this, the better people will remember him as. But as far as like right here, right now, it's like this is brutal.
Agreed. But here's the difference between the Yachty thing. We all know this now. I think it's pretty obvious that Yachty wanted to be done the year before.
Yeah.
And Albert comes back. And the Cardinals essentially begged Yachty to come back. There's a reason Yadier Molina was not in shape at spring training last year. Because Yadier Molina used to show up in fantastic shape in his mid to late 30s. We would have the narrative during spring, has Yachty lost too much weight? Remember that? Mm-hmm. Is he too skinny? So for Yachty to show up last year, clearly the Cardinals were like, dude, at this point, we're not comfortable with the Kisner. Herrera was in the minors at the lower levels. So that's a difference. I mean, Yachty, it seemed like, was okay with being done before last year, whereas Waino obviously wanted to come back.
Yeah, for himself, basically. And Yachty was like, fine, I'll do it for the team. If you want me back, I'll do it for the... Waino's like, I'm coming back because I want to hit that 200 mark. But Waino's making, like, if Waino wasn't making 17.5 too, like there's just a lot. There's a lot going on right there. And I think he's hearing from the fans now. They're like, gee, Waino, so everybody's rolling their eyes. Waino, you kind of roll your eyes now when you hear that name.
I do not blame him, by the way, because he did not offer himself that contract, and he's not writing himself into the lineup.
But he was in a different category. He could.
Well, then that's the organization's fault for letting you get to that point.
Agreed.
I know. But right now, Waino can make that decision and be like, dude, it ain't happening. It ain't working. Get
That's
me
so
outta here.
stupid to me that it's his decision to make.
Because, well, it wouldn't be anybody else's, but when you're Waino, you could do that kind of stuff. And so.
But I think what you're bringing up, this is a problem for the Cardinals. And every once in a while it works, like last year with Albert.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the Cardinals hang on to legacy players too long, which is funny because the only guy they didn't do that with was Matt Holliday. Remember they didn't pick up his option about 6-7 years ago, whenever that was. But with Matt Carpenter, you give him an extension when you don't have to. Whether it's giving the extra year to Waino, and you guys can laugh at me, but I'm telling you, this is why when the whole idea of Paul Goldschmidt being traded has been brought up this year, which I 100% think is a valid question. And by the way, I think you can make the case that to get pitching, it may have been your best option. But my point all along was not about is that a good, smart baseball move, because it probably would be. It was about would the Cardinals actually do that. And it's more likely that the Cardinals give Paul Goldschmidt an extra extension when they shouldn't. Because when they love a guy, and he's been here for a while, and he's a true Cardinals type guy,
He's a true
they
Cardinal.
give that guy an extension when they shouldn't, instead of trading that guy a year early. That is a big blind spot with this team. But part of it, too, I think, is marketing. Let's be real. Like, the Cardinals are also a business, and they know that with Waino and Yachty and Albert and Paul Goldschmidt moving forward, there's lots of bobbleheads. There's lots of MVP nights. There's lots of, remember this? There's lots of 300
trinkets.
homer nights and trinkets and 700 homers. There's a lot of ways you can market.
The Blues do the opposite.
They get rid of you early?
They get rid of you. They get rid of you.
That's what smart businesses do.
Yes.
Bill Belichick has said that for years. It is always better to trade a guy a year early than a year late.
There it is.
And he tried to with
agree
Tom
with
Brady.
that. Now, the Petro situation, like, we'll see how that all plays out. That's the big one. But David Perron to all these other guys, man, David Backus to, I mean, I can go on and on and on. You know what I mean? You get a little, that's I think that's Doug's motto, man. Like, we got the best out of you. We got the best out of you. We already rewarded you. Somebody else is going to reward you and overpay for you, but you're already here. You know, you got the clout. You got the leverage. Somebody's going to pay you. We're just not going to do it.
And make your money, by the way.
Go make it then.
But have
This is
somebody
what-
else
Exactly.
write the checks.
Yep.
And the
They'll
only
overpay
one,
you.
now, let's be real, Pietrangelo, that's a big miss. But also, it didn't seem like Pietrangelo wanted to be here. Now, if you want to break what you do in terms of bonuses and whatnot, Alex Pietrangelo had reached a point where he could call his own shots.
Yeah.
And if he wants to go to a place that has no state income tax and they want to give him what is, in essence, a lot more money when you factor in the bonuses and whatnot.
There it is. They still offered him $64 million.
But also, I mean, the Backus move. Remember, when that happened,
Oh, God.
that was, I don't want to know if it was 50-50 because everybody loved David Backus, but everybody knew also, I think deep down in your heart, you knew that it was better to let David Backus walk. And it was the greatest thing ever. And Backus, he made his money, but he aged. You wouldn't have won the Stanley Cup.
He aged?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I mean, it was a terrible deal for the Bruins, and if the Blues don't let David Backus walk, they don't win the Stanley Cup. Full stop.
Boom, Charlie. There you
So
go.
you have to make.
There you go.
And then guess what? He can come back later, and you can make the montage, and he can wear the jersey and drop the puck, and you'll remember all the great times.
Exactly.
But you don't have to pay him when he's 35.
Backus. I mean, Dougie probably looked at his eyes. Remember, I was like, damn, Bax aged fast, dude. He was taking hits. He was blocking shots. Like, he played hard. His body shut down. Then he goes to Boston. And Andy and I are talking. Listen to our podcast with David Backus. He was live with us, too. It was fantastic. Dude, Boston treated him like shite. They let him go, and then they wouldn't even let him practice with the team. He had to find his own ice. Like, it was really, really bad situation. But he couldn't move. And they paid him a ton of money. Oh, man. If he would have stayed here and just crumpled in front of everybody, people would be all over him then. That would set the Blues back so much.
So think about that. That's the difference.
Yes.
We're watching Waino crumble as a
Yes.
Cardinal.
Yes.
We never watched David Bax. Now, we watched him crumble as a Bruin, but it's different because you only remember the great times of him as a Blue.
Trying to think of somebody else, like even like Keith Kachuk. Like no one was bashing Walt because he was old when we were playing. Like we needed Walt with the young kids and stuff like that. It was a different situation. Having Walt still there at that age and stuff like that. Like I don't remember him. People loved him, but there's a couple other guys, man.
He also gave up his whole mouth and teeth.
I know.
In his final season.
I know. God Almighty, he had those pants. His jock was from like 1980. Those pants with the holes in them. He had that bucket, that nasty bucket too. Oh, it's so funny, man. The best is the post-game quote. I don't know what to say to the fans. I know what you can say. I quit, moron. Go strum your guitar and butcher anthems. Plenty of cornball crap to fill your time besides embarrassing yourself and this franchise any further. Who do you think said that?
Bye, Sharona.
Sharon?
Oh, yeah.
She does not like Waino.
No.
It's personal.
And he doesn't like her
personal.
back, so it's okay.
She was just trying to be nice at the Deerbergs.
How about this, though? Because I saw that Elon Musk is going to get rid of the block button, which means
I saw that.
that Elon is going to remove the fact that Waino blocked Sharon.
Just because of that. Mm-hmm. That's why he's doing that, Sharon. It's because of you and Waino. The you and Waino drama. Cam's exactly right. DeWitt wants a 200-win bobblehead night for next year. They're in the trinket business as much as the baseball business nowadays. They're in the business of making money.
They're in the business of business.
They're exactly right.
And for them, when you win 90 games and you get to the playoffs, even if you have an early exit, but you got 40,000 strong coming every night, you're averaging over 3 million folks. Fans keep coming out until this season when it all just
Not to mention
unraveled.
Not to mention Waino, like, doubled down on Twitter. Then he
War
gets
paint.
rid of it.
Get your war
No
paint
war
on.
paint. It's like, God, you're doing it to yourself, man. You know, you're walking on water. And now,
Is he Jesus?
well,
Dust off his sandals.
Tell me. You know, he had those sandals on the one time.
The problem is I really love Waino because he's such a great guy. But this is hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch.
And it's hard for us not to chirp.
If he gets
No,
to
we
200,
we should critique every outing. And again, I hate to say it because I almost feel like I'm saying this for my own benefit because it's just what is interesting about the Cardinals in the last 40 games. It's Mason Wynn.
Yeah.
and
Pete
it's-
Alonso.
Okay, yeah. It's,
Pete Alonso's the most
bad.
interesting thing about
It's
this
a lot of
team.
but
Weird
it's
drama.
Waino. Like when Waino pitches, it becomes 3 days worth of content.
Yeah.
So I hate to say that for my benefit, I actually hope he keeps pitching.
Yeah. Quit doing it. We won't talk about
I'm an awful person, but I admit it.
So am I then. Science chimes in. What's up, big dog? Because of social media these days and the opportunity to go out with Pujols and Yachty, Wainwright overall sentiment will be remembered negatively short term, but long term will be well thought of.
100% agree.
Yeah. I eventually it will. Eventually it will, but you know, he's taking a beating this year.
I just feel like, and again, it's hard to say what people are going to remember 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And I still think it'll be overly positive. But it's hard to ignore that if he gets 200 the way he got it this year.
People are going to be like, oh, thank God. It's more like a nuisance. Like, hurry up and get it so we can stop talking about it and so we can stop coming to the game and hearing about Waino and stuff like that. I think the fans are like, Jesus, either quit or hurry up and do something because they're getting sick of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It just, this chase for 200 feels beneath who he is as a player.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
Yeah.
a significant moment for the people in the ballpark who are watching it, and you can kind of get encapsulated in, oh, everyone's standing. It's a nice emotional moment. You feel like you're a part of the moment yourself. For people watching on TV,
Well, if they're in Oakland.
oh, well, that's a huge inconvenience if it's on the road. In fact, now I'm rooting for it to be on the road. Now that you mentioned that,
Nobody's going to be like, hey, my grandkids 30 years from now, hey, let me put you on my knee, Tot, and tell you about the day that I watched Waino get 200
Exactly.
wins for a last-place team.
No.
He went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs, but the Cardinals won 8-6.
700 you are.
I'm not
That's
saying
different.
that.
700 you are.
And, you know, David Freese.
Yes.
And moments. Yeah, there are moments where that
Big
ballpark
time.
is electric. I don't think, and again, if you were in the park when somebody gets 3,000 hits,
Yeah.
500 homers, Albert, that's a different story. I don't think people down the road are going to be telling folks, I was at Busch.
I agree
when
with
they
you.
played the Pirates.
I was at the Coliseum.
No one will do that. Nobody.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I'm just saying, in the moment, it'll be a nice little moment for the people in the ballpark, for the people watching on TV who aren't there and can't feel that coming through the TV. I feel like it's going to be, thank God we finally got to this
That's what
point.
I'm
Now we
saying.
can be done.
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to be relief. It's going to be like, all right.
God.
It's like, geez.
Can you quit now?
And by the way,
Yeah.
for all my chirping, I think I'm going to a Cardinals game next Tuesday.
Get right on town.
Because my mom's in town to babysit, and she likes baseball. Even though the team is terrible, it's better than watching the Toledo Mud Hens AAA team. My mom would rather go to a bad Cardinals team. We'll get nice tickets. My guy, I won't mention your name if you're listening. I'll be texting you soon.
Yeah, baby. Good
And
for you.
it's an easy ticket, though. See, I only ask for easy tickets. A Tuesday against
it
the
is.
Pirates, or excuse me, the Padres, when the team is horrible.
Yeah, and no one's going to be down there.
That's not a tough ask.
Do
Dude,
not.
you could park right next to the stadium, walk right.
That's
go to
what I
patio.
want. I hate to
know.
say that.
I know.
I look out for myself.
Too
so when
many
the team
people.
is bad
know.
and there's less people, it's easier to get around the stadium.
Patios. There's no lines anywhere. You walk in. Only a couple people here and there.
not.
I'm
Hell
old
yeah.
now. I'm
Dude,
old. When I
no,
was young, I'd
agree.
be like, give me 45,000 fans, make it a party. Now that I'm old, I
Yeah.
care about parking. I care about getting in and out.
I don't want to be.
Oh, I've
annoyed.
always cared about
Concession stands, bathroom lines.
Yeah, baby.
Give me
I agree.
an empty crowd where I can buy a ticket way up top, and by the third or fourth inning, I'm hanging out in the second row.
First inning now for the Cardinals.
If the ushers let you, go ahead.
Oh, they don't care.
They don't there?
Fantastic.
Well, the ushers
do
aren't-
not
aren't
let your
trying either
mom
anymore.
carry a wagon anywhere near your truck.
I heard the ushers at the Blues
hear me?
games. I heard
Okay.
the
Oh, I know.
ushers at the Blues games, in particular this one lady, does not let anybody do that. And, like, they keep filming her, kicking people out of different stuff.
I think baseball is a little easier.
Yeah,
When you
like-
have wide open,
You can see it.
sections.
I forgot what it was, but this lady took a beating on Twitter. People keep filming her, kicking people out. I'm like, well, you're not supposed to be there. It's usually packed, so I don't understand what she's trying to do her job.
But here's the deal. As a kid growing up and going to Tiger Stadium, where we always had the cheapest ticket,
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons I fell in love with baseball was those ushers. These are horrible Detroit Tigers teams in the 90s. Those ushers allowing me to go down and sit next to the dugout
Yeah, man.
and hear the players talking. That's how you fall in love with baseball. So they should let kids do that.
Damn right. Damn
It's
right.
actually it's a good way to grow the game, to let the kids down by the dugout, give them the best seats possible when the place is empty.
They'll learn some new words.
Yeah, man.
They will, but it's fun.
Was Gibson hanging on looking like a clown to get some goofy-ass number? I can't think of any player in my lifetime looking this embarrassing, trying to reach a nonsense milestone. Angry old guy. I know. Dude.
It's nonsense now. I think
It's nonsense.
well-
It's been nonsense all year.
I agree, but I think some of the people who are now joining our side started the year thinking that it was a bigger deal, and now
Sick of it.
And now that they're seeing how long it's taking, now they're like, well, who cares?
Well, I think
for 2 wins.
But I think it's how he's getting it. Or, again, we don't even know if he's going to get it, by
I
the way.
agree.
I think there's a big difference if Waino would have come back and been just a quality fifth starter who goes, let's just say he goes 8-7 with a 4.5 ERA. Nobody would care. Again, I think maybe he should have been a little better. He's making $17.5 million. But they wouldn't have cared because, okay, the dude's 41 years old. That's kind of what we expect. He'd be a 4 ERA pitcher, whatever it is, but he's still giving you quality innings. It's the way he's chasing it now. Where I read an article the other day. I mean, he's dang close to one of the worst pitchers that we've ever seen because he's getting so many starts. I mean, because usually if a pitcher has a 9 ERA, you stop pitching it.
Yeah.
So it's not often that a pitcher will get 20-plus starts or whatever he's going to end up getting and post close to a 9 ERA.
Oh, this text line's blowing up. 855-282-8255. We're going to play that Bernie clip
Yes.
too here soon. McGuire walked away from $30 million because he was embarrassed. Waino is 10 times worse than McGuire was his last year. McGuire hit 29 home runs his last year and was embarrassed and retired, leaving $30 million on the table. He hit 29 homers and retired,
Yeah. I think he had some back issues.
and he's probably like, no, man, I'm not doing it. What the hell does 200 wins even matter? He's a first ballot Cardinals Hall of Famer and no chance for the real Hall. Shut up. Shut it down. AARP. Wombat.
Again, chasing numbers that someone somewhere in previous history just decided that numbers with zeros look better than numbers without zeros.
Whatever. Whatever now.
But that's kind of like so cool. That's like celebrating your birthday. Okay? You celebrate your birthday on your birthday. You don't celebrate it the day before, even though you're technically, when my daughter turned 6 in January, okay, she's technically 6 when it's 2 days earlier.
I celebrate my birthday that Saturday, whatever it is. That's my birthday. It's a birthday week, and that Saturday is when I'm getting down with it.
That's arrogant when people turn their one birthday into a whole week.
No.
Instead of a Wednesday, he's saying.
No, instead of Wednesday, I'm not celebrating my birthday. I'm just that Saturday, baby.
If you pivot, okay, that's fair. If you pivot the day because everybody's working and it's inconvenient for everyone to get together and you say, hey, we're going to celebrate this a few days later, I think that's fair.
Kate, what are you going to do for my 40th? I'm curious.
Simultaneously.
Better start setting that up now, girl.
Are you 38 or 39?
How about
39.
this? Charlie, that is the perfect analogy. Okay? If you have a birthday.
Go to break.
There you go. If you have a birthday on a Monday, I think it makes complete sense to celebrate your birthday on the Saturday beforehand.
That's what I'm saying.
2 days early.
This is like everything.
That's like celebrating 200 wins when you're already at 198. That's fine.
By the way, this should be every holiday. Okay, I know people won't like me for saying this with like religious holidays and even our Independence Day. It should always be the Saturday of like the closest.
Thank you.
July 4th. When July 4th
No.
is on
We had a day off of work.
No, but,
okay, but that's
we
different.
almost got
But when
screwed
July
on that.
4th is on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
or Christmas is on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, it just kind of messes up the flow.
It does.
It should be like
Or
the Friday or
Halloween.
the Saturday. Give everybody the Monday off. Give them like 2 hardcore party days.
They'll probably make more money. People will make more money if Halloween's on a Saturday. There's more people are out and about. More people are going to celebrate it. You got a day off the next day.
More blades in your
Like,
Snickers.
what Halloween? Who cares? Put it on that last Saturday of October, just like you do with Thanksgiving. You're guaranteed 4 days in Thanksgiving.
This is why the greatest
The hell's
holiday.
going on?
The greatest holiday when you have Memorial Day and Labor Day, because they just change it. Because it's like whatever.
Exactly.
The Monday.
Yes.
They give you the Sunday, and then you get Monday off. That's the perfect way to do a holiday. Is you always make sure you have the Monday off.
But didn't Jesus? What did he do on Christmas?
Talking about
So at Christmas on the 25th, though, Jesus
TJ Moe.
rose from the grave or something, right? So you have to have Christmas on the 25th.
Correct.
Okay.
That's
the
birth.
Okay. Oh, the birth. That's right.
Easter,
Charlie broke
then.
that down
I
pretty well
probably
earlier.
should have known that. I probably should have known that.
It's all good.
It's all good. But at least Halloween. Like, make it, like, these kids are cruising around. Like, that was so fun for me as a kid, dude. Like, I loved it, man. But then the next day, you're like, oh, God, I got to go to school. I couldn't even sleep last night because I'm all jacked up on sugar.
But that was kind of fun though. That next day, you bring some candy in.
No,
yeah.
You compare what you got.
No,
Candy for lunch?
The next day is like sleeping in as a kid and then getting up and you have a whole day to go hang out with your buddies and eat your candy. You're not even allowed to bring candy into school, were you?
Back
You
in the day.
I don't know. I don't want to go to school.
Not allowed to bring candy into school.
Yeah.
You can't pack it with your lunch? They
Well,
they
like
monitor
you're
what
saying,
you
you're
bring to
sharing
lunch?
candy in the
Not peanut
class.
butter.
I think the teacher would be like, no, put the candy away. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go to school the next day after cruising around doing my thing on Halloween. Does Waino have a bonus in his contract for 200 wins?
Interesting.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Wouldn't doubt it, but it doesn't change the money that much.
They probably thought it was such an obvious play that it wasn't even necessary.
Aren't the Blues currently watching Colton Parayko crumble in front of them with a horrible contract? Angry old guy.
But he's about 30, right?
He's 31 years old, and
I didn't even realize he was that old.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and then he signed that contract after a pretty good year. I mean, it's only $6.5 million. Like, it's not that the AVV is not that high for a guy that gives you 21 minutes.
He plays a lot. We looked that up the other day.
Yeah, I
He
know.
plays a lot of games.
That's
plays hurt a lot.
If you're a top 4 defenseman, you're making $5-6 million. It ain't 8.5. There's a big difference. You want to do Bernie?
Yeah.
Text line's blowing up. 855-282-8255. I'll get to all y'all. Let's hear the Bernie Miklasz from a couple days ago bashing on who I like, Miles Michaelis. Go ahead.
Yeah, so here we go. We're going to start out. We got a number of topics here. We'll start it originated all the way just to refresh our minds on what happened in the whole Cubs debacle.
Since June the 1st, among 60 major league starting pitchers that have thrown at least 70 innings over that time, the worst ERA among those starters is Kyle Gibson, Orioles, 5.95. Then comes Rich Hill, who's 78 years old, I think, 5.53 ERA. The third worst ERA by a starting pitcher, Miles Michaelis, 5.23. Is anybody else tired of this guy? Even what happened going back to the Ian Happ thing. This guy's act is old, man. It is old. He's appointed himself like the team leader that will succeed Wainwright in that role among pitchers at least. So you think by hurting the team, doing knucklehead things, it's only going to hurt your team? That's leadership? Getting thrown out of a game against the Cubs because you clearly wanted to, and you did hit Ian Happ. The back swing hit Contreras behind the plate. They're close friends, Contreras and Happ. They hugged at home plate, meaning it was an accident. I forgive you, Mr. Ian Happ. But no. Michaelis had to do the fake tough guy act.
I agree.
Got thrown out of a game, which made Marmol have to go to his bullpen really, 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 really early. He only got 3 outs in the game.
I agree with that. And I said that off the bat when Miles did that. And I like Miles Michaelis, but that's ridiculous. It didn't even hurt the guy. What's the point of that? And you did it on purpose. You did it twice, and they booted you. And everybody's like, I can't believe I got booted. You hit the guy with the ball on purpose. They're going to get you out of the game. And I know you could have got a warning and whatnot, but, come on. Even Ian Happ, there's a backswing. He didn't mean to do it. And now you're going to hit him with a ball. Not even that hard. It just looked the whole thing was goofy.
I agree with that, but I didn't have a huge problem with that because you still knocked the guy out of the game. So I think to me that's more debatable. That's more 50-50 because even though Ian Happ didn't do it on purpose, you still knocked their catcher out of the game.
Okay, fine. Throw a 95,
it's kind of an eye for
throw
an
a
eye
95 mile an hour and hit him in the back.
Well, he did.
No, he didn't. He threw a 60 mile an hour. What are you talking about?
Miles Michaelis?
Yeah. That was a weak throw.
No, he did it. He did it the way you're supposed to. He missed the first time, but you're supposed to just hit the dude on the butt. That's what he did. Didn't he throw a fastball and hit him in the butt?
The second time.
Yeah, well, I know.
Was it a fastball?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to throw a curveball.
Well, then what's the point of doing it? Just hit the guy if you're going to hit him.
Well, he missed the first time. No. I believe he threw like a 94 mile an hour fastball off his rump. Did he not?
It said 94, but
it looked like 64.
No one really.
It looked like a Waino
that.
fastball.
Yeah. All right. So that was.
Now hold on.
That was incident number 1. Now here's incident number 2, where some people on our text line yesterday
Go ahead, Burn Dog.
disagreed with Bernie about his defense of Pete Alonso.
I think even now, the way a lot of people out there were reacting all weekend to Pete Alonso was absolutely stupid. Pete Alonso is a guy that, let's just say, for his sake, it's really, really good that he can hit a ball long way, often. Because, as they say, not the brightest bulb in the firmament. I like him, though. I've always found him to be a pretty delightful guy. This thing with Mason Wynn, Pete Alonso does what Pete Alonso does from time to time. He's just completely unaware of situations or his surroundings and just sort of drifts off mentally. Alonso, because the umpire said, we're going to take that ball out of play, he just assumed, okay, it got dirty or something, and he tossed it in the stands like he does all the time. I don't think he intended to do that, because he's like, the hell with this rookie. I'm just going to throw the ball in the stands. There's nothing that tells us that he's capable of that kind of petty, stupid behavior. He just screwed up. And he more than made up for it, in my opinion, by apologizing profusely. What's how you booing Pete Alonso all? Boo your own team. What are you booing him for? And every time you booed him, you hit a home run. But anyway, I shouldn't do that because fans can do whatever the hell they want.
No, you're being Bernie. I love you. He did it, so he's too dumb to do that on purpose? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Because he's kind of goofy in interviews? You don't know. That guy did it on purpose, man.
And he said, the one thing I disagree with is, he said there's no evidence to suggest that he's that petty. What about the whole, I'm a big, strong guy.
Petty as hell.
I could put a guy in the hospital if I want to.
Petty as hell. He did it on purpose.
If I choose to put a guy in the hospital, it can happen.
And he's like, oh, my God, I probably shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that? Because if you did it on accident, you're like, oh, dude, my bad. You're like, oh, my bad. Here, go get it. My bad.
And if you listen to so I listened to that whole segment, I believe it was yesterday.
We have more.
Okay, all I'm saying, though, is that the overall point, too, is about being the team sheriff, which is fine. If you want to be the team sheriff, but also you can't be the team sheriff and also get shelled all the time and be a guy who just got the big extension that he got and be a number 4 starter. I mean, I've said all along, for the Cardinals to be good in 2024, Miles Michaelis better be your 3rd best pitcher. He better not be your 2nd best pitcher. If he was your 4th best pitcher, I think you're feeling great. That's going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
But it's all about it's also about the fact that Miles Mikolas has not been pitching well at all, and yet he's the sheriff in the dugout. He's chirping everybody, but he's also going out there making $20 million a year, and he's getting hit around.
Yeah, I agreed with Bernie on that, and I like Miles. I didn't agree with the Pete Alonso thing. The dude did it on purpose, man.
Well, then Bernie tied Pete Alonso back to Miles Mikolas.
Why is Mikolas like in the top of the dugout step, like screaming at Alonso? Hey, tough guy, go out there and throw a punch. See what happens there. Oh, you're going to scream. You're going just like the Cubs who were laughing at you after the Happ thing. They're just absolutely laughing at him from across the field because he's screaming at him. Who the hell's afraid of Miles Mikolas? But for him to interject himself in that situation for no reason, it's like, dude, why don't you concentrate on your pitching? You got a 5.23 ERA since June the 1st. You were terrible in the first month. You had a really good May. You didn't follow up on that. You've been good here and there, really bad, not good. Good, and here's another good start. Okay, now here's a mediocre start. And I repeat, he's got the third worst starting pitching ERA, 5.23 since the start of June. So why is he feel like he's got to show everyone he's the biggest badass in baseball or something?
The burn dog. The burn dog don't play.
And then here's a fun one. I enjoyed him going after Mikolas' fashion sense a little bit. This was hilarious.
Listen, I know there's some fans out there, and did you see that outfit he wore? When they were out there in Denver. Oh, that guy's so funny. He's eccentric. I like those guys. He's kind of wacky. This concocted image, trying to make himself this hip guy, this eccentric guy, this free spirit guy. It's all an act, okay? 100% act. I care about how he pitches. Other than that, save it, dude. Save it. Quit worrying about trying to like nominate yourself and put yourself up next to Wainwright. Okay, he's going to retire, so I'll be the guy after that. Why don't you do what Adam Wainwright would do if Adam Wainwright was still physically capable of doing it? You let your performance speak, okay? How about that? You'd leave the cowboy outfits at home, or whatever you're going to take on the next road trip. Leave the costumes at home. Quit worrying about hollering at the other team. Here's an idea: get the other team out.
He's not wrong. You know what this gets back to, too?
He's not wrong.
It's the same type of conversation as the burger phone. You can have fun.
There you go.
By the way, I like Miles Mikolas.
So do I.
And everything with the cowboy hats and the Doc Holliday shirts that I like, and the mustache and the boots, all of that plays when you're winning and when you're doing your job and pitching well. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. You can wear the cowboy hat and you go on the road trip and everybody wears the deal and you have fun. Baseball's a long season. It's a grind. When you're winning, you can do whatever the hell you want with the burger phone. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can wear cowboy boots and you can have the mustache with the aviators. If you do that stuff and you're not pitching well and the team's in last place, fans are like, what are you doing with the burger phone? We don't care about your outfit.
No, exactly. And if this happened with the Blues, too, and they're getting their ass kicked, and the guy on the Blues is just loud, and he's doing this, and he's doing this fashion show, but he's out there and he's -3 every single night, I'm getting him. You know what I mean? Like, What are you doing? You know what I mean? It all plays, just like Charlie said. So true. You can't have that petty crap if you're playing bad. You can't have, like, this cool image. Look at me, when you're getting lit up like a Daddy Padre in Nashville.
And we have one more, final one. Bernie talking about Miles Mikolas. Mikolas apparently thrives under the pressure of the Cardinals.
Bernie.
And, hey, you better not count these Cardinals out.
He's also one of these guys. I can't stand this. Look, you got to own the fact that the Cardinals have been terrible. You got to own the fact that the Cardinals starting pitching has been terrible. He is among the reasons why it's terrible. His lack of consistency. Just because he turns in a couple good starts in a row here and there, that doesn't take him off the hook for all the below average or bad starts. He's one of these guys that does this, which is one of the stupidest, one of the most irritating things, at least in my time at being in the media. But it's also directed at the fans. He does the whole thing, well, nobody outside this clubhouse believes in us, but I tell you what, we haven't given up. It's that kind of thing. We're not eliminated yet. He's been saying this all year. Go ahead, count us out. We like it. We'll show you. Okay, we're still waiting, tough guy. We're still waiting.
Oh, man.
Boom!
We got a lineup here at 590, baby.
You know what else this kind of gets back to? We had a little fun last night on Twitter with Martin Kilcoyne. It gets back to this has been an excuse for this team since day one, which, if you remember, was the Miles Mikolas start. where he did have some batted ball luck.
That's right.
But the St. Louis soft contacts, the St. Louis soft contact Cardinals has been an excuse for 130 games almost, and they keep saying it, and it's becoming pathetic. Honestly,
It is.
like it's from the manager, it's from all the starting pitchers. They all go out there. Guess
Annoying.
what? Guess what's going to happen when you don't strike people out? And guess what? You don't have a shift anymore. So if you are a pitch to contact team and you have a bad defense and you don't have the shift, you're going to give up a lot of contact, soft, middle, and hard.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
Don't
You gave
flip
it
that
up.
off. My point is, we've heard that from day one. We've made fun of it, by the way, from day one. That's what makes you look like a loser in the press conference.
There you go.
And they're doing that a lot. And look, we've heard it from the front office. We've heard it from Ollie. I feel like every single starting pitcher, soft contact, soft contact. Oh, I gave up 11 hits. Oh, 4 of them were soft contact. Yeah, you gave up 11 hits because you're hittable, because you don't strike anyone out.
Exactly. Did the Blues make these excuses last year? I'm just curious. Do you remember? I don't think so.
No, Berube was
Berube's
chewing dudes out.
Yeah, he's like, what is going on here? And then Doug had to make that, and he came out like, no. And he was pissed, and he didn't make any excuses. And then he acted on it. And he traded away everybody. He's like, enough's enough. I feel like it's a complete opposite with this Cardinals team. The complete opposite mindset. And
There's
just
a lot of weak contact.
the way they're reacting to negativity and the bad play. Like Army and Chief are like, no, they're bad. He was bad, he was bad, he was bad, he was bad. Not, well, the puck flipped up on the stick. No. You couldn't get the puck out of his own for 2.5 minutes. I hope the Blues are okay this year. I just do.
I meant to do this.
I don't.
We got to follow up on yesterday's
I agree
poll.
with you. I don't know.
No. I think they're going to be okay. I don't think they're going to be bad. Are they going to be in the playoffs?
I know. I think they're going to be right on the edge there.
Now,
What do you got?
our poll from yesterday. Which are you more excited for? The Blues season starting or the Cardinals season ending? 50-50.
Wow.
But there were 119 votes, which means that somebody won, but due to the fact that it was above 100, I can't see who
It's
it
a
was.
rounding error.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Has the poll ended?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see here. Bud Light 32 chimes in and goes up. Has St. Louis ever had a more selfish chase for a personal record? Question mark. Damn.
Again, I'm jumping to his
Who?
defense. He's being enabled by the people who are the actual decision makers for the organization. I would love to pitch a game for the St. Louis Cardinals and pitch in the major leagues. Guess what? They shouldn't let me because I'm not good enough. Adam
Whoa.
Wainwright. What? Hot take? I'm not good enough to start in the MLB?
He's never seen you play.
What if
Well,
you
he's
just do
never seen you
knucklers? I mean, does Burleson have a better ERA than Waino?
Maybe.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
answer that question. Has there been another athlete in St. Louis history pursuing a more selfish chase for a personal record?
I
Has there
cannot
been?
think of one.
Has there been? Has there been?
I could argue that he's pursuing $17 million.
In half.
I was
17
wrong. Alec Burleson's ERA is 21.6.
Don't even think about heading down to green seats, though. We were down there one night in second row. For the last 3 outs, we moved to the first row just to sit there for the final outs. No one was in the seats the entire game. Most people had already left. The usher came right up and told us those were the owner's seats, and we had to vacate. So typical of the private school, old money, STL vibe that the Wallets have going on, they deserve all the chirps they get. Sharon.
Yeah, but at this point in the season, I think you want those sweet tickets. When it's going to be 100 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
All you can eat, all you can drink, a little situation.
I was fourth row at Hollywood Amphitheater during the encore, and I moved to the second row, and a beer gut usher dude lost his mind and threatened to kick me out, then said I should have asked him first before I moved. Some of those ushers are Barney Fife clowns. Oh, God.
Paul Blart.
Barney
Mall
Fife.
cop.
Yeah, that's right. Is that what that is? Yeah. Waino is all Cardinals have to take the mound.
Say what?
I don't know, man. You gotta figure that one out.
Huh?
You gotta figure that one out. Let's see. What's up, Tuna?
Charles Tuna's here.
What up? Let's see here.
I don't have trivia preprepared for him.
Is he allowed to come in early, or
He
does
can come
have to-
anytime.
does
I
he have
wanted to
cut
come
a
do
spot?
trivia with us, but he's got stuff he's got to do right there. He's got to do his work.
He's getting prepared for a big interview.
Who's he got?
Skip Weber.
Okay. Weber Chevrolet. Hell yeah.
Hey, sponsors, baby.
That's what you do.
And Weber Ford.
By the way, my bookie coming back. You know what?
On Monday.
I know, but I'm just saying. So we'll do the read starting Monday, but I'm going to fire up. I always say with my bookie, we'll give them an early free read. With my bookie, folks listening, because gambling on football is the best season to gamble. You might as well, and I'll do the same. I'm not just saying this. Put a bunch of money in early. Get that bonus, and then hopefully you can use it for the whole season.
Okay.
Get that 100% bonus.
Yeah.
So whatever you like to play, like stretch it out. If you're going to gamble on football, you're going to gamble for about, 25, 30 weeks? Between the start of college and the end of the NFL season, we're talking late August all the way through essentially the entire month of January. So put a bunch of money in early, get that bonus, and then hopefully you can have it for the whole stretch. MyBookie.ag.
MyBookie.ag, baby. Let's go. Let's see here. For Waino's remaining starts, can the Cardinals ground crew just plant a stash of spider tack for Waino beyond the mound? Let's help him get it done. Even the other team will probably look the other way at this point, like pretending not to see your boss cheat when playing golf with him. Dusty Lane. Okay. You know. Let's see. Jesus was not born on the 25th of December. He was born in the spring, but mankind made the anniversary of his birth on December 25th. Interesting.
Is that true?
The Parayko bad contract narrative is absolutely dumb. Any other team would be happy to pay $6.5 for a top 4 D-man who plays big minutes. Wombat. I agree, man. Like $6.5 is not that much.
And that comparison, so that was a comparison to Miles Michaelis also. And here's the deal. Miles Michaelis has like a 4.5 ERA? And he goes out there and he pitches. He makes his starts. So at the minimum, he's going out there taking the ball and he's throwing to a 4.5 ERA, which again would be fine if he was your 5th starter. But he's basically the Cardinals. I mean, he was the Cardinals' opening day starter this year.
Sorry, Andy just texted me that we have a podcast at 10:30. And
you got a boogie out of here.
I didn't do my homework on it because he just told me. So
who is it?
Cool. Garth Snow, who's a GM of the Islanders through all that crap, and he finally got his contract up. So now he wants to come on and tell a story. So I got like homework to do, and he just texted me. Damn.
All right, I'll give you some Garth Snow trivia.
But sometimes, man, like you don't know, and he's like, okay, fine, 10:30 tomorrow, and he's like, fine, I'm good, and so that's why that happens. It sucks, man.
You'll be fine.
I'll be all right. John Boy, who is a Yankees fan, broke down the Alonso win thing, and he very politely said that everyone in New York understands that Alonso has the mind of a 5th grader and absolutely was too dumb to do it on purpose. Okay. He's too dumb to be dumb? That doesn't make any sense.
Then he must be really dumb. Which, again, I'm going to leave a 10% chance that he is such a blockhead that he's oblivious to the world. But I'm going to say 90%. Again, when I say do it on purpose, it's kind of like a bully, O'Doyle rules thing.
Yes.
You know the kid's going to get the ball. You know you're at Bush. You know they're going to give it to him. It's just kind of a little, hey, last year you guys tackled me. We got a little bit of a rivalry. I'm going to be kind of a jerk for a little bit.
So what you're saying, and Bernie said the same thing. So what you guys are saying is Alonso's too dumb to do a dumb thing? Okay. Doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's that he's so dumb, he would do a dumb thing without knowing it's dumb.
Nah.
Carry the 3.
I mean, come on. I don't know.
By the way, maybe we should tease this. My guy Chris Gardner, our former producer, I knew he'd find
Great
this.
guy.
He sent me 2 audio files. I looked for this last night, and I believe they are the clips of Spags. I haven't listened yet. Of Spags saying, basically, this was the soft contact joke.
Yeah.
Spags saying, if you take away the 82-yard touchdown run and the 67-yard touchdown run, we actually stopped the run well.
Yeah, I want to play those clips.
That was kind of the Spags
It's like
thing.
ridiculous.
If you take away the 95-yard touchdown run, we stopped the run.
I bet you Kisner loves you guys trashing the guy whose boat he's on while he calls in.
Are we trashing or are we fairly critiquing?
That was Bernie.
By the way, Miles Michaelis, again, he's pitching to a 4.5 ERA. He's been bad lately, and he's your opening day starter. He needs to be better.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Cam, you know that's not true. Teams wanting the Blues to eat half of 55's contract to take him last year. It's an awful contract. There's worse contracts than that, brother. Way worse. Who's making the most money on the Blues? Who's making the most money?
I think it's
right here,
all those
right
guys now, because the 7.5 guys are gone. That was O'Reilly and Tarasenko.
So the highest paid guys.
Oh, well, no, obviously now it's the young guys.
Oh yeah,
Kicks in this year.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
Kyrou and Thomas.
$8 million.